Alright. Alright, so I just want to do a little informational video on phone books. As you can see here, I keep a couple in stock, and yes, they are all set by thickness, so I can make progressive steps. Alright, because it's all about having the next step that's bigger. Now, along with that, over here, here's a couple of the phone books that we've done in the last couple of weeks. So it's not like I'm just brand new at phone books. We do rip them on a regular basis. And to make sure we get the most out of them, I even rip them with the binder. Just to, that's why these are all halves sitting. Those are all half phone books. I throw the other half away, recycle it until we rip it in the binding. Then I can throw it away. Now, one of the things with phone books here, let me see if I can get somebody to hold this for me. Here, take that. The size of the phone book. Here's 3 basic sizes in phone books. You notice, now I'm not talking about thickness, but look how wide this phone book is compared to the other one that's considered a large phone book, and then these little minis. Alright, so you can see here, it steps off. You wouldn't think, but the bigger they are, the easier they are to rip. These little ones, the problem we run into with these little ones, if you ever rip a phone book and it does this little corner, and you're trying not to, it's because the grains of the paper are running this way. So when you're ripping it, you're not doing anything wrong. If you kink this and start it, and it rips and you go in a corner, it's not that you're doing anything wrong, it's just that's the grains of the phone book. Look at the difference.
So yeah, it's the same size this way.
The same size, so that's what they're doing now. Alright, so these are still nice, but the big ones, you want to grab a tape measure over there, Mr. Paris?
Yeah.
The big ones are definitely the way to go. The bigger the phone book, the more leverage you can get. So we're talking, 8.5 by 11, so it's an actual piece of paper. These little ones go down as small as 7 by 8.5. So stay away from the little ones. These mediums, if it's the only thing you can get, they're still better than nothing, but it's harder to get good grasp on. These big ones are the way to go. And for today, for experimental purposes, just to show you, I'm going to grab a full 8.5 by 11, but it's a little bit thinner, so I don't kill myself. Alright. Now, once again, everybody talks about,
You're coming lightly.
Alright. I know I've seen Paul's video on how to start it, with the grip and rip, and you go in here and you're trying to start that line. Alright, but one thing you got to remember is the placement of your right hand. I've got thumb down, but it's also out as far as I can go on the outside of this book. Because the closer you go, the less of an S you're going to get and the less leverage. That's why the wider the book, the more leverage you can have for pulling it. So you're squeezing down with your left hand. Now you're going to post it on your thigh. I see a lot of people, they keep it down flat and pull. If it works for you, great. Here's another method that we found seems to help quite a bit, is if you keep it perpendicular to your thigh, and as I'm pulling back with this hand, I'm rolling with my left hand to try to get that scissor action. Because if I'm pulling and just holding, just posting, you're only using half your body. If I'm pulling and pushing, I get that scissor action, and it should pull, it should rip a lot nicer. Alright, so once again,
220.
You let it go, you're down. I got my S, my hand's way out here, and pull and push. Okay? And I'll explain why that was difficult in a second, but once you got it started, swing your hand over here to the inside. Alright? Now once again, keep it up a little bit higher in your thigh, and now you're going to be pulling, pushing with this hand and pull with this one. Then after the first one, go down a little bit more, keeping your hand up high to get leverage. This one goes further down in the crack. Once again, you push your hip forward and pull. Alright? Now the next thing I want to point out is the hydrometer. Alright? You can see here it's 74 degrees, but it's 64% humidity. Alright, where are you keeping your phone books? Makes a big difference. Because if your humidity is at 68, that means these phone books are holding moisture. If they're holding moisture, and it makes it harder to start them like this. For example, I went out to Las Vegas, where the humidity was down in the 20s. Temperature was up over 100, but all of a sudden I looked like a superstar because I was ripping these 1800-page phone books in 2 pulls because of no humidity in the air. So it costs about $10, $15 at Radio Shack. Get the hydrometer if you're that concerned about the humidity where you are. When you're out west, not as bad. Guys down south, humidity is going to be terrible this time of year. We'll wait until wintertime. Alright, so checking the humidity makes a big difference. And if you want to get real technical, you can call me or send me a text PM on Vendor's Battlefield, and I can tell you how many grains of water is actually in the air, if you want to get real specific, which is a step above relative humidity. But I don't know if you want to get that technical. And the last thing I just want to point out...
For a PR, you do.
Yeah, for a PR, maybe it would make a big difference. But get them out of the garage, get them inside to a controlled area, and then check what the humidity is.
I got a question. How long do you think it takes, if you're in a humid area, to get them dried out good enough? A week?
I'd say, almost a week to 2 weeks minimum. Because even though humidity's down, it doesn't mean that all the moisture is pulled out of those books. Now with me, I can pull in a full commercial grade dehumidifier and dry the hell out of them. But not everyone has a $5,000 dehumidifier. And I haven't been smart enough to use that down here myself yet. The other thing Paris pointed out to me, if anybody's interested, maybe I could try starting selling some phone books. If there's a certain thickness you're at, want to take the next progression, kind of like we're doing with the calibrated steel.
Yeah.
I get my hands on quite a few phone books on a regular basis. And like I said, there's 75 on my table, and there's a good 50 that are already ripped. Well over 100 or more that we've gotten rid of in the last couple months.
Yeah, and I've got about 30 at home.
So yeah, so we can definitely consider that if somebody's really looking to get serious about phone book ripping. Anybody has any other particular questions, let me know. Just trying to help out. Phone book demo. Bruce is going to show just the basic starting position, because we find, we take it for granted that it's easy to get the S in there to start it. But he's got a good way of showing how to grab it the right way with your thumb, so you can actually see. Go ahead.
You want to point any stuff out while he's doing it?
Yeah, I'll point it out.
Okay, basically, if you set your thumb like right on the edge there, and then like right on there, and then you want to wrap your hand around the corner, and then pull the corner up. And then just by doing that gives you your line right along the book. You want me to rip it? Or you want me to?
No, set it again.
Alright. So then as you
show what you're doing with your left hand too.
My left hand, basically, you're just grabbing right at the edge of the spine. I mean, I have a smaller hand, so it's easier for me, and it gets you right in the middle of the book, pretty much.
Okay.
But it's going to rip right along your hand. So you get your thumb in there, and you grab that whole corner with your fingers, and you pull it up. So then you get your, well, I got a new line that time, but you get a line. Now the page is ripped, but yeah, so that's.
Flip it over.
Yeah, flip it over.
Yeah, here, I'll flip it over. So
yeah, flip it over and just do it. Now that we know how to do it. Demolished.
And just by doing that, it just goes right away.
All right.
There you go.
And let's talk about the spine here too.
This is what I was showing in the first video. How we just ripped them the second time. There's nothing fancy on this. It's just something to stimulate the blood in your hands. Basically it's more of a brace, but it's just something I figured if you have that phone book, might as well use it to rip as much as possible with each phone book. This way you don't let things go to waste.
Right.
So as I said before, hopefully this helps a couple people with their phone book ripping technique. Let me know if you have any questions.
You want to measure the spine, just in case anybody asks? Because once we throw it away, we'll never know.
These are just little ones. It's embarrassing to only rip this.
Oh, it's just a demo.
It's an example.
One and
Can't really see on here, but just what is it?
1 and 13/16.
I can't see the 13/16. But anyways,
Inch and
Yeah.
3/4 on.
Inch and 3/4.
all right.
It's not a very big book, but it's something. Just here to help people. Like I said, also a progression. We're more than happy to try selling some books.
Yeah, that's what we want to do. We want to figure out the sizes and the thicknesses and have a progression set up for the Bender's Battlefield, and then we'll be able to deliver books, or if people can get books and want to move up, Mike will have them. So just
If anyone's interested.
yeah, if anybody's interested.
It's not a big deal.